Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Brian Altano. I'm joined with Justin Davis.
Yep.
And it's the 125th anniversary of Nintendo being a company. Let's talk about that.
I know. How exciting is it? And so to celebrate, we said, hey, let's play some of the greatest Nintendo games of all time. But in truth, we just wanted an excuse to play awesome stuff like PunchOut.
Yes, very awesome stuff like PunchOut. Now, PunchOut is one of the most memorable and iconic, and I'd say best boxing games ever made. And what was so interesting about it was it was one of the first games I ever played that actually featured a celebrity.
Well, not this version, unfortunately.
Not this version, because this game originally featured Mike Tyson, who you know from probably The Hangover, if you're young, and if you're old, professional boxing. Mike Tyson was the main boss of this game, or the main bad guy, but you know, you didn't really have a problem with him, other than the fact that he was, you know, just the most formidable athlete in the world at the time.
Hey, wait, I'm gonna cut you off. By the way, am I missing something? I thought you punched him. You waited for his pants to go down, and then you punched him in the stomach.
Yeah,
but he's blocking me.
Well, you gotta wait for his. You gotta get a good shot at his gut.
I'm trying, like right
now. Hit
his
mouth first when he's got his mouth open.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So right now we're playing as Little Mac, and we're a few bouts in.
There we go.
There we go. We're up to King Hippo. Now, King Hippo, he sort of defined when this game sort of started becoming what I always called a boxing puzzle game.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
Yeah.
Right?
So a lot of these fights, kind of so far, you can sort of mash buttons and dodge at the right moments, but King Hippo is the first guy that you really get to where you're like, there's really only specific times you can hit him.
Right.
And he's very different. Now, in boxing, you want to knock down your opponent 3 times.
Yeah.
And then they get a TKO.
Well, they do in this boxing.
Yes, in this boxing.
With Mario referee.
In crazy cartoon boxing. Yeah, as you can see, Mario's a referee. Now, King Hippo is kind of different because he's the only character in the game that you only have to knock down once. And because of that, he's much more difficult.
Because he absolutely hates to have... It's impossible. You're absolutely right. That's actually a really funny or like clever observation that he's the first boss that's like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Like you'll never beat him. You'll never beat him no matter what you do unless you figure out his secret. And
yeah.
I'd actually forgotten. I've played through this game, I don't know, 100 times over the years, and I'd totally forgotten. I remembered I had to punch his belly, but I'd forgotten that I had to hit him in the face first.
Yep. Now, as you can see, Justin's playing right now as Little Mac. He's got those little hearts in the corner. And there you go. You knocked him down. So he won't be getting back up because that's impossible.
Yeah, he's done. Who were your... I like how they actually toned it down in the American version.
Yeah.
But, like, many of the characters, like, vaguely racist or,
well,
like, prejudiced.
I don't know how much they toned it down because I feel like this was one of the most racist games I've ever played.
Yeah, there's definitely... Well, they changed Vodka Drunkinski became Soda Popinski.
Yeah, but he still looked very drunk, and he's the only character in this game that's, like,
and
very pink.
Great Tiger's maybe a little bit questionable, too.
Yeah, he's on the fence. I think the one that really always stuck out to me was Piston Honda.
Yeah.
Piston Honda comes out, and he only says Japanese company names, which is not how any Japanese person talks. But he comes out, and he's just like, Toyota, Mitsubishi. That's what he says in between matches. It's pretty nuts. Now, Great Tiger is another sort of entry that starts to feel more like a puzzle game. Now, the best time to hit Great Tiger is obviously right after his jewel flashes.
Yeah, you can see if you're really, really fast when his jewel flashes, you can sort of interrupt him. But if you're a little bit too slow, it's at least a little bit of a tell, so you know you need to dodge.
And I remember, like, fighting these guys as a kid, I was always sort of just like, I got up to Great Tiger, and I was like, oh, this guy seems kind of weird.
They all have kind of a, they all have a little bit of a trick that always, like, sometimes you need to knock him down first to get into the second round, and then you'll realize, like, from here on out, all the guys are going to have kind of something special.
Yeah, now, I mean, now you knocked out Great Tiger in, like, a minute.
And then you're going to see some stuff.
And you're like, oh, this is a pretty straightforward fight. And then, nope. All of a sudden, he starts to pull some stuff that's just, like, straight up supernatural magic. Like, this game transcends boxing and all of a sudden becomes something that's like, dude, you're a wizard. You shouldn't even be in this ring. Which means, like, it's weird to me because there's a real character that ended this game originally in the form of Mike Tyson. Now, watch this. What? How does that work? Nice work, man.
Thank you.
So, a lot of times I used to play this, and he would just come around and whoop my ass and hit me in the face over and over and over again. You got to block every punch, and then
you had to, like, psych yourself up like young Brian and young Justin. I can just picture us sitting in our basements, or picture me sitting in my basement being like, all right, he's going to do the thing. Like, get ready. Time it right. Time it right.
Yeah.
It was always the same way with Bald Bull as well, and Super Macho Man.
And this is a nice little touch here. Between rounds, you get a little interview with each character. And depending on how you're doing, you'll see how badly these characters beat up. Like, sometimes Little Mac gets hurt so much that he looks like
he's got 2, like, black eyes.
Yeah, his face is all mangled and pounded in.
Yep.
So now you can win these fights by KO, which is just if you whoop their ass enough to knock them out. TKO.
I thought that was the TKO.
Yeah, well, TKO is, I think it's knocking them out 3 times. That's the technical.
Yeah.
Now you can also win by decision. Whoa. You can also win by decision, which is like it's really weird in this game because it's based on points.
Yeah.
Depending on the amount of points you get, you can win a decision. But some guys, you can't win by decision no matter what.
Did you know the trick that between rounds, if you mash on the controller, you can regain some of your health back?
Was it mashing or I remember there was something like holding a button or mashing or something.
Well, it's always like the schoolyard trick.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was mashing, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's just like the longer, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just these things that would get passed around from like kid to kid because we all had PunchOut growing up.
Yeah, and I don't remember it now, but the original PunchOut code for Mike Tyson, 0073730 something. It was like I had that memorized in the same part of my brain that had my friends' phone numbers memorized. Nice work.
That was
Oh,
he
man,
got me a couple
kept
times
going.
though. Yeah, he did. So what I like most about PunchOut, well, first of all, what I like about it is, look, if I'm being completely honest, I loved NES games at the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of them feel clunky. They're not that responsive. Like your character jumps weird. But PunchOut totally holds up.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Little Mac, every single time you press the button, like he dodges right when you want him to. He does everything you want him to. Like this game aged much more gracefully than almost any other NES game.
Yeah, and it's a weird franchise for them because we only saw 2 sequels for it. And it was Super PunchOut and then the PunchOut reboot on the Wii. And now we've seen like PunchOut characters appear, Little Max and Smash Brothers coming up.
Yep.
They're PunchOut mini games in WarioWare.
Yep.
It's always sort of been like one of their like 7th tier franchises.
Yep.
But it's so good.
And what I also liked about this, at the time this came out, again, like if you didn't grow up with PunchOut, maybe you don't get it or you won't recognize it. Like these character sprites being so huge.
Oh my god, it
was
blew
like
my
a
mind.
big deal. It seemed impossible. Look at Bald Bull.
Right. Yeah, this was like the original Shadow of the Colossus. And it's kind of incredible because you did like the first time I fought this guy, I was like, what is he, like a slot machine of fists?
Yeah, it's insane. And like that's the other thing is when you would lose, you would get to continue.
Yeah.
But you basically had to start over.
Yep.
So you would work your way back up to this impossible giant man that swung his fists at you like faster than you could possibly react, and you would slowly learn. You'd be like, all right, I'm learning, I'm getting better.
Yeah, it felt like a real boxing ranks in that way. Like there would be a pay-per-view, and you'd get out there and fight him and lose, and then there'd be a rematch in here. But that was an important thing that you just brought up, was you would you'd lose a fight, you'd get to play him again, but if you lost, I believe, 1 or 2 more times, you got ranked down. You'd have to go back and fight Great Tiger again. Great Tiger would be like, oh, you're back, and he would whoop your ass, and then then you'd get a game over, and it would be this screen where like Little Mac's just on this bench and everything's red and dark and horrible, and it was just like,
I forgot about the game.
Guess you're terrible at boxing.
And it's funny that I know I'm not sitting here playing perfect. I am getting hit some, but I basically remember these dudes' patterns. Like I haven't played this game. Like I don't have it on the virtual console.
Oh god, here we go. I think it's a. Oh man. No! Oh, I could never.
One off?
Yeah, you're like a second off.
Do you know that there's a camera flash in the background?
Oh, really?
And I don't know if it's a coincidence or if Nintendo planned it, but if you punch right when the camera flashes, then you can get him. And I never knew that when I was a kid.
I'm gonna try to watch for it now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's really very heavily pattern based, and there are people that can just fly through this game. Like I've seen speedruns of this game. Go look them up on YouTube.
I saw a dude play it blindfolded.
Really?
Yeah. At Summer Games Done Quick.
nuts.
So I'm not doing that great right now, but what I was starting to say was I haven't played this game, I don't know, 10 years probably, and I still remember. Like, I remember their tells, and I remember their patterns.
Yeah.
And, like, other NES games aren't necessarily like that for me. Like, I don't always remember what to do, but this is, like, ingrained in my brain.
I always loved this, the freeze frame moment. And something really cool happens in this game, or when I was a kid, I used to play this, and you would knock down a character, and it would start counting, and be like, 7, 8, and you'd be up there cheering, and he'd be getting up, you're like, no, get back down!
You have to mash the controller as fast as you can. Like, the more you get knocked down, it has so many great little details. Like, the more you get knocked down, the harder it is to get back up.
Yep. Well, my barber didn't know when to quit. Do you?
PunchOut's truly one of the greats.
We do, Bald Bull. PunchOut was available on the NES. You can play it on the Virtual Console. I believe it's also on the 3DS. You can play it on the Wii, the Wii U. Awesome game. Still holds up today. Go check it out. It's probably like $5.
Yep.
We're going to be celebrating Nintendo for a while now, and hopefully for another 125 years, although that won't be us covering that.
No.
This is PunchOut. I'm Brian. That's Justin. For all things Nintendo on the 125th anniversary of Nintendo, keep it locked right here to IGN.
See ya.